You ever been in New Orleans?
No, I haven't been
Yeah,
to New
it's
Orleans.
a great city. It's but it's, of course
I hear.
it's based on Paris,
Of course.
and it's like this captures it. It does.
Southern American Paris culture.
Yeah, I know it's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice.
That's crazy, man.
So how's the show going? How's everything going?
Show's great,
Good,
man.
right?
You know, we just got picked up
The
by
deal is going good
by
with
iHeartRadio.
Right.
You know, we're syndicated right
Ooh.
now. We're on iTunes. We're
That's
on
a huge
SoundCloud.
thing, man.
No, it's very huge, man.
Yeah.
And we're loving it, man.
I'm sure. I mean, it's a big feather in your cap for that. I mean, they're them to like the show that.
Yeah, man. I mean, we deliver great content, and the thing is, I feel so confident that in the hip hop circle, we really brought a different element of talk to the game. I mean, you've been on the show.
No, I tell you, when I did the show, I thought it was great. And again, it's the best, smartest interview anyone's ever done with me about my book. I really enjoyed talking about it.
Thank you, man.
You know, honestly. And, well, first of all, you really had read it.
Yeah. No, I read it from cover to cover.
And a lot of times people don't do that. And then, you know, it was a great interview. And, you know, from my Twitter, and people kind of, oh, wow. Well, like, I got a ton of people who said, I heard you on Combat Jack show.
Yeah.
So I know it's a big deal.
Yeah, social media, our social media game is crazy, man.
Right. That's what you need now, man.
You were talking about Twitter earlier, man.
Yeah, sure.
How do you like it, man?
Well, you know, I embraced it. I have fun with it. When I think of something funny to say, I'll try to get it on there. But as a comic who's got a radio and a TV show, I'm like, well, if I think of something funny, what do I do with it? Do I say it in my stand-up? Do I say it here? Do I put it on Twitter?
Yeah.
Now I'm just like, I'll just put it everywhere.
You got to get on Instagram, Artie. Are you on Instagram?
But you know, explain the difference.
Instagram is addicting. I mean,
But Twitter's the same thing.
It's wait here. I'll tell you.
Right.
Twitter is telling people what's going on.
Yeah.
And Instagram is showing them.
Oh, okay.
You know,
but you can do the same thing on Twitter.
Yeah, but it's more. To me, it's like a shorthanded Facebook without all the
So with Instagram,
crap.
it's literally just a picture.
Well, now they added video, so now they have 15-second video.
videos.
Yeah. So now people have videos, but it really is probably the hottest social media.
You guys see this story about Riley Cooper, the guy on the Eagles?
Yeah.
The N-word.
He's gonna have a great season, man.
Well, I'll tell you, now I don't know what's going to happen, but you know, again, that's just an example of how the world's going to change. Like, you know, when guys aren't going to get away with that anymore.
You can't.
There's always going to be a guy there with a phone.
Well, you mentioned
or
that
Instagram
before.
or whatever. You know, yeah.
On the show, you mentioned that. You mentioned that how comedians, or now they're being taped, and if they say anything, it could travel across the world. Like,
Right.
Before it stayed in St. Louis. You know?
I know.
How do you feel about that, man?
It sucks for comedy.
Yeah.
You know, Tracy Morgan, who I'm a big fan of, just had a big controversy last year. He said anti-gay stuff, and you know, again, he said it at a midnight show at a club in I think Kansas City or Cincinnati or somewhere. And in the old days, if you were a comic and you were doing a midnight show in Kansas City, it was just you and those 300 people in that club, and they could be crazy people, and you just wanted to say what you needed to say to get a laugh, get your check, and get out of there.
And you left them with good memories.
Right, that was the old days. They're being crazy, you're being crazy, you get a bunch of laughs, you leave, and you move on.
Right.
And when you get on TV and do a TV spot, or Vegas, or something more exposure, obviously you do a different show.
Right.
Nowadays, that's not true. You and everybody in the world are in that room, because if one guy's got a phone, and you know, Tracy, it was video, you know, and he almost lost his career because of it. And
on top of that, you know, it seems like the mood has become so PC, so politically
well,
correct.
I've said that before.
And I think that ruins a whole lot of aspects that we grew up.
Political correctness is the enemy of comedy.
Yeah.
It's the enemy of comedy.
Free speech.
But
art,
is it progress? And you're right, exactly. But is it progress as a society? Probably. Tolerance, of course, is. But if someone's going to be a true artist, they're probably going to just want to say whatever they want.
You know what's really weird? My son is sitting in the green room. He's 16 years old.
Right.
Good kid. Grew up in Brooklyn, New York.
Right.
He's never had a fight in his life.
Wow.
Never had a fight in his life.
And
I think that says that me and my wife are doing a good job.
I think that
in terms of raising him.
I
but
think
at the same time,
at least 80% is on you guys.
Yeah.
Because I think most of it starts at home. Parenting doesn't get enough credit, and gets too much credit sometimes. But I don't think you can give it too much credit. Right. I really don't. I mean, I think that's it. And Brooklyn's a very different place.
But at the same time, how can, like, as a man, as a guy, there's going to be times when all of us have been in a confrontational situation.
Do you think it helps growing up to at least get in 1 or 2 fights by the time you're 16?
Dude, I remember going to first grade. First day of first grade, man.
Slap box.
This kid punches me straight in the nose.
Right.
And I don't know what the hell to do. And my friends are like, fight him back.
Right.
And instantly I knew this is how I'm going to survive in this world.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
You got to fight. You know what I mean?
Of course. You know.
Right.
It's hard. What do you tell your kid? You're like, sometimes you gotta throw a punch.
Yeah. And sometimes you got to stare at 5 Italian guys in the elevator and back out.
When I can tell, I mean, when I say like it was the smartest thing a person could have done in that situation, and he did it in a way without looking like a punk in any way. Like he won that confrontation without saying a word.
He was smart, man.
And I said, that's a kid who grew up in the streets because he just knew exactly how to. And Richie is a kid who grew up in the street. So, you know, it would have been, he just knew the smart thing to do was step back, and he did it as smooth as ever. And it's just hilarious that, you know.
So what do you guys
makes sense.
think about Jay-Z calling out Scott Boras?
I mean,
I think it's competition, you know, in business, you know.
It's a little
pretty
check.
ballsy.
It's very ballsy.
you go after the
The
head guy.
biggest guy in baseball.
Yeah.
It's like being in prison. You knock out the biggest guy in the
Yeah,
shower.
I did that. But I tell you, he explained perfectly what he meant. I mean, in the song "Crown" on Magna Carta, he says, Scott Boras, you're over, baby. Robinson Cano, you're coming with me.
Right.
And that's like a strong arm comment to say. But
It is.
But he explained what he meant by that, and he explained like he feels that agents of the days of till now
Of the last
have
20, 30 years, he said.
have signed these athletes, and that's it. They signed them to a 10-year deal and haven't done much
they
for
just
them.
sit
Now they're
back
going
and collect.
broke and all these that. So he wants to, I guess, show them where to get a fresh haircut. Could be his own company. You know what I
of
mean?
course.
But he wants to show them how to probably be, not go broke.
Do you
know,
think
and
that's
be there for them.
realistic, though? I mean, him coming out and saying these agents have done such a terrible job, now he's putting them on notice, and they're going to have to step up their game to keep up with him.
Well, I think the other level with which Jay-Z is approaching this is that he's always, as long as I've known him, even before anyone knew who Jay-Z was, he's like, I'm going to be number one. And so him calling out Scott Boras is like, I'm going to be number one.
Yeah, but
that's his tactic.
No, exactly, and I think he could very well succeed in that. But I think what makes it's kind of a bold statement because what makes a guy go broke. There's a lot of factors into it. Some athletes, white, black, whoever, are just
they're not
are just
prepared.
not good with money,
Well, like
and they're not
Allen
prepared with. You're not exactly. That's the biggest thing. They're not prepared for the change in their life. We got to take a break. We'll come back and finish this the Artie Lange Show. Hey, welcome to the Artie Lange Show. So we're talking. Is this Jay-Z? This is him.
This is Jay-Z.
And Justin Timberlake.
The new album.
Yes, the new album.
So we're talking a little bit about representatives and agents in sports and stuff, and we were just talking about Allen Iverson. He's an example that comes up a lot. He definitely had a bad attitude coming in on a lot. Not a great teammate, not good to coaches. Me against the world type of attitude, but again, to give props to that 30 for 30 series on ESPN.
That's awesome, man.
Check out the trial of Allen Iverson.
Yeah, I will.
And it'll make you totally think differently about that guy. There were so many facts about that I thought were facts that were completely false. First of all, I thought someone died in that altercation. No, in the bowling alley.
Yeah.
No one died. A woman was hurt pretty bad, but recovered completely, supposedly. And two, he's not on video doing anything. There's no evidence that he even threw a punch. But he was the big star. He was as good an athlete as came out of the peninsula down there in Virginia, like Hampton, Virginia.
Football and basketball.
Yeah, football.
and
So he
basketball.
was everything. And he was the guy to go after. Racial stuff was definitely a factor. And he almost got railroaded and going to the joint for 20 years, and that makes you mad.
I mean, he actually did.
It makes you mad.
He actually did
He
some time.
He did hard time.
Until it became like a public outcry that this guy was being railroaded.
And he did hard time. Yeah. Absolutely. And, then he got to Georgetown, and John Thompson was a mentor. So it's an interesting story. And I think
that almost didn't happen.
Right, exactly. And the Jay-Z thing is a combination of a bunch of things. It's him being a good businessman, obviously. It's
a hustler.
maybe trying to figure out a way to to fix a situation in sports where maybe a lot of these guys don't go broke, because there's a lot of stories.
But the
about
facts with Allen Iverson is he definitely spent most of his money on white tees and do-rags.
That's right. I know.
I mean, listen, we're talking about practice.
Yeah,
Who
that's
said that?
that is one of the funniest things ever. The practice tape. We talk about practice. Anyway, listen. What are you, 5'10", and he got the Sixers to a final against Shaq and Kobe? That's not bad,
Dude.
That's playing ball,
when he
man.
broke Jordan's ankles.
Yeah. When he did the crossover.
Yeah.
Now,
It
unbelievable.
was so fast.
Colin Quinn, I want to thank you, my man. Go see his show, Unconstitutional. Colin, as good a comic as you'll see. Graveyard Lovers, unbelievable. Check them out on Twitter, at Graveyard Lovers. Brent Stover, you're the best. And Combat Jack, and thanks so much. Premium Pete.
Thank you, Artie.
Check out their podcast.
Salutes.
And the Artie Lange show will continue next week. We'll hear every day except the last week of August. When we take the last 10 days off, and then we'll be back for football season. That's here already, believe it or not.
Yes! Hot.
Take care, Brisha.